Hi, friends, it's Salt. If you're new here, this channel is all about salt. Salt is the alchemical element of transformation. Salt cleanses, it heals, and it transmutes energy just like you do. This channel finds the rare archetypes who move through life differently. So if you found this, I'm really honored to have you and really just be one of the few who gets to see and reflect you properly. So, first, I want to highlight that my readings are really intended for a small audience. And I really didn't anticipate how large it was going to get as quickly as it was going to get, but here we are. The reason I'm pointing this out is if you notice, my readings aren't like tied to hope necessarily. They're not like, oh, he's coming back, she's coming back, but it's more directly from source without that filter. It's wanting to guide you to something very important in your path. It's kind of like the analogy I can give you is I'm the tough love parent that really cares. And some readers are just kind of like giving you candy constantly, but not really touching that uncomfortable discomfort that comes with actual growth and healing. So just know that the statistical odds of every single video of mine resonating are super unlikely, but that doesn't mean that I don't feel your energy. I do. It's just usually the energies that come first are the ones with the biggest contrast to fill. So the ones that are in the deepest pain right now or have the deepest emotion, but that doesn't mean yours won't follow. And so I just want to be super clear that it's not linear energy work. And just because you've been commenting and you don't feel like my readings are fully resonating doesn't mean they won't. So just a preface. Okay, so the first cards I'm getting are Wheel of Fortune, Judgment, and Moon opposition energy in combination with a significant return in someone's chart. So this feels like a reading that is specific to doing something multiple times. I'm picking up on repetition being very important here, or going back to situations that you feel that you've healed from. There's also a deep frustration or awareness that follows this repetition. So I'm seeing words that are like awareness before behavior. So I think this is pointing to whoever is listening to me right now being really highly aware, but having a slower integration with their behaviors that follow that awareness. I'm kind of getting an energy where you were born almost way too aware for your body. So the catching up is almost painfully slow just because of that, gift that you were born with. You have this cerebral intellect. You have this like deep awareness that your body, has to grow and catch up into. And it's going to take a lot of your life, is kind of what I'm seeing here. Following this, there is an energy here that's coming through that's hurt you many times. And I don't really like the feeling of this, unfortunately. Repetition seems important here, like a cycle that has commonly had the same beginning and ending, almost like painfully so. I'm seeing this person having two sides to the pain they caused you. One is unhealed, like they do it without consciousness. This is a very emotionally underdeveloped energy and has some innocence to it. They really don't seem consciously aware enough and at your level to have a fighting chance of equality, unfortunately. But there is a second small part of this person that has a little bit of malice. There's a little tiny amount of manipulation where they know how to drag you into that repetition cycle and they want to because that's kind of how they get their power. The contrast of awareness between the two of you is a big pull of attraction from what I'm getting. There are parts of you that felt hindered by your awareness, whether subconsciously or consciously. So you desire the ability to turn off your awareness like this person does. And so you're drawn to them because they mirror that part of you that is very underdeveloped. So that's often where attraction comes from, is we're attracted to partners that have something we need to either grow or develop. And this person showed you that part, that deep part of you that wants to just turn off your awareness and be more free. But your awareness is your gift. So there's two sides to that coin, definitely. The next thing I'm getting is justice reversed and a Venus retrograde in the 12th house. Okay. I'm getting some nudges here that who I'm talking to is very drawn to wanting an apology or closure deeply. This feels very tied to your past life. If you weren't already aware of this, which maybe you are because who I'm talking to is deeply, deeply aware, almost probably more than me. But in a past life, here's what I'm being shown. I feel there's a lot of unresolved injustice that's followed you through many lifetimes. You were in previous lives a very intuitive leader that took a lot of suffering of others by healing them, but they took advantage, and there was never a justice that closed those loops of your sacrifice. So in this life, you're rewriting that karmic pattern. You are kind of seeking your own justice. You're not really demanding an apology, although that need still follows you. That deep desire to have someone apologize and give you that justice is following you in this lifetime. Spirit is highlighting right now an important distinction for you. So the deep desire for closure or justice is actually the part of you that is deeply protecting you. The only way this part knows how to help is to shame the situation. So, for example, if you circle an old energy or go back to it or repeat a cycle that you know is wrong or that you've outgrown, this shame part of you activates not because the act was actually shameful, but because it's using that emotion to stop more pain in the future for you so you can clearly walk your aligned path. It works in a way, shame, but it also feeds a really dangerous fire I'm seeing. So if the shame loop stays active for too long without compassion or understanding for why you go back to these repetitive cycles, it feeds this need for closure as the resolution. So basically, you're in this cycle of needing that apology, that justice, even deeper the longer you allow the shame, that shameful part to keep protecting you without compassion. So the deeper route here is compassion for your past lives, maybe a little bit of understanding for why you deeply desire that. And then an understanding for how long these repetitive cycles actually take. I think we're kind of like under the impression that healing is very linear. Like one day we just wake up and a light bulb goes off, or like something gets switched and we never go back and we're changed. And that's just not true. That's not how it works. Integration often takes multiple cycles of going back and healing deeper layers. So it's necessary for you to revisit and have repetition to integrate deeper layers of your subconscious. So things that you don't understand or don't have a clear reason as to why you're going back are important for your healing. You might randomly feel drawn to someone after many years and many months. And I've had readings where this lesson comes through strongly, but it seems this collective needs to hear it multiple times as well. Is like going back to these cycles does not mean you're regressing. It's actually part of your healing. I guess the message here feels pretty simple, right? So revisiting or doing multiple things doesn't mean you're not changing. It doesn't mean you're not healing. I think the deepest layer can be addressed once this collective has full compassion about going back to things. Going back is not forbidden. It doesn't put you back. It doesn't take away you from your healing. In fact, sometimes it takes another look at something in a different way to reach a different part of your healing. So, spirit is guiding me to tell you to be aware of compassion in those shame cycles of going back to things and understand when you cycle backwards why you're doing it. It is directly in that lack of compassion that keeps the cycle going longer than you want. So, compassion and allowing the backtracking, the revisiting, the repetition are all integrated parts of healing. And the message here is it is messy, it's not linear, but don't confuse that repetition for, you know, giving up or that it's hopeless, because it's not. That's how it works. This last part is, I think some of you already intuitively know to do this, but keep leaving comments. The comments themselves do not have to be anything specific or personal to you. Think of these as energetic nudges for me to align with your energy. It helps me channel for you more efficiently, and I want to be able to do that. I read each and every one always, and I am so thankful for all of you. So, cheers, friends.